see and rotate your phone. There you go. It won't record until you rotate the phone. So you're gonna have to hold it the other way.
This way?
Yeah. That's the way you gotta push play. It's live?
It'll be live. What up?
You're on the punchline with Kelly Pavitt.
This is a quick,
Little show.
yeah, unexpected, but we can't pass up the opportunity.
To tell everybody goodbye for our week trip to California. So we want to do a short little show.
Bear with us.
Bear with us. We're doing this without any production or anything like that. We just kind of got together and knock a show out. Let me get the questions up for us. We have. Sorry, but guys, we're a little discombobulated because Justin usually keeps us together.
Justin does. But I think this is a little more personal.
I think so.
You guys get to see all my posters in the back. By the way, I didn't put those up.
They've been there. All right, and hey, we're like low budget, like some of the other shows out there now.
I was scrolling through my articles.
Hey, that dude's cool, man. He really is a cool dude. I like him a lot. His show's different, and he kind of just. But you know what? I like his show. I'm not gonna hate on people, man. He's a great show.
I was just repeating them.
I know.
I don't ever hate on anybody.
Oh, I know you don't. I hate on everybody, but you don't.
I don't.
I know. You're the one that doesn't hate. I fucking hate on everybody. But today, hey, new year, new me.
Why would it happen?
I'm not gonna hate on no one this year.
Oh, one of those New Year resolutions. That'll last. That'll last till next week.
That's what they said about my workout too last year, right?
Yeah, but you killed that. So, anyways, you want to introduce them to who we're talking to?
We're going to talk to Diego Magdaleno today, contender, brother of Jesse Magdaleno. He's also in camp for Adrian Broner right now. He's working with Adrian Broner in camp, so that's huge. Yep. We got some inside information on what's going on with Broner, and I'm really excited about bringing him on. He's a nice guy. He's 30. What is he? 30 and 2?
Yes, 31.
31 and 2.
31 and 2.
And 13 knockouts?
Yep.
You got
13 knockouts.
13 knockouts, yep. And so, like I said, I've seen his brother fight quite a bit. His brother actually beat my cousin. But Diego's a good fighter himself, and
It's going to be a good fight, so you want to give him a call?
You want to get into some of the other stuff, or you want to talk to him first? You tell me.
Well, this was kind of like, this is
The reason you came in?
a short show, but yeah, we can. Is there anything anybody want to talk about?
Let's talk about Floyd and tension.
Okay. Guys, it's not going to be an hour show, though.
Not our show.
Too much to do to bring you guys. I really want to tap into that with the people we're going to catch up with out here. That's going to be nice, too, though.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be in Oxnard talking with a lot of good fighters in Riverside, probably, or not Riverside. Actually, I think we are going to go up to San Fran.
Are we going to go? We're going to go up? Roger did say he wanted to go with us too up to San Fran.
Okay.
It's
but yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of opportunities.
well, we're gonna be down there with Abner Mares in Riverside, Josito Lopez for his fight with Thurman. Abner's getting ready for Gervonta,
Yep.
and now we're gonna be there with Inoue in LA, Ito, and possibly Santa Cruz now.
That's
Getting there with Santa Cruz over in Commerce because he's getting ready for his fight. So we're going to have a chance to be around a lot of these guys out here, and we're going to get a lot of the inside stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else, you know?
Yes, and we can tap on the Mayweather.
Alicia says, hey, hi, Alicia. And Dylan, what's up? And Nelly, my cousin Nelly, hi, guys.
Yeah, listen, people, I can't read the boxing sites anymore, the boxing... these groups, these threads, dude. Floyd, here's my take on it. What does Floyd have to prove to anybody? And I hear people saying, like, he should be giving these other guys an opportunity instead of these MMA guys. Now, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but what else does Floyd Mayweather have to prove to anybody, or what does he owe the sport?
Nothing.
The guy brought millions upon millions of dollars to the sport. He brought people in to watch, whether they were watching him to get beat or to win. He beat everybody. If they were a little past their prime, so what? I've seen fighters lose to guys a little past their prime. He went out and did everything that he was supposed to do in his career, and he was fortunate enough to get to 49, 50 and 0.
51 now?
Yeah, 51 now. But as
Yeah.
far as fighting boxers,
Yeah.
if you hate on him, then that's sad. He don't owe nobody. He don't owe anything to these younger guys. He gave a lot of young fighters opportunity. He did what he had to do, and he went in there, and people were saying they think the fight was fixed. Hey, that first punch that he landed, that was brutal. He hurt him. Then the second ones, I think the guy, those were a little more like, let me go down. I don't want to get beat up no more. I don't want to feel this no more. That kid had no chance in hell.
Well, and I've told this to people, tension fights at 122 pounds. Let's not even pretend that he was even in the same weight realm of even 1 or 2 weight classes. He might have been 4 or 5 below him.
Yeah.
I think Floyd came in about 165, 170. There was no weigh-in. He weighed at 122. They said that he weighed 137 at night and putting weights in his fucking pockets. I mean, the kid's small. He's a 20-year-old kid, right? And I don't care how many times you spin it. I don't care how much chocolate you put on a piece of shit. It's still a piece of shit, okay? Tension is a high-level, talented kickboxer who's 32-0. And let's stop in the key word being kickboxer.
Yeah.
Being punched by a kickboxer and being punched by a boxer who's in worlds, much less being kicked by a high-level, one of the best fighters to ever grace the fucking sport.
I'm going to go this far with that. No, I agree 100%. I'm going to go this far, though. They could have let him throw kicks. I don't think it would have made it. I think it would have made the fight go a little longer. He wasn't going to hurt Floyd.
No.
Watch the way Floyd backed him up. Even if he threw, I don't see what would have happened. I don't.
Floyd looked soft because he didn't care about making weight, guys. He was 165, 170. He didn't give a fuck. What I'm saying is, could anybody here think of a way that they made $9 million in 3 minutes or 3 rounds for $9 million? I would do it. Would you do it?
Yeah.
Would you fight? Let me ask you this, Kelly. Would you fight a guy that was 140 pounds right now? A kickboxer that's never fought a real fight for $9 million,
Absolutely.
and would you knock him out the same way?
He ain't throwing those damn hoofs. Yeah, I'll fight him. Fuck yeah.
Hey, my girl Patricia's watching. How you doing? Nick, but he didn't have to be trained. He didn't have to be in shape for this fight, is what I'm saying. There was no reason for it. He didn't need to be there in shape for that. But let me tell you what. People talk about, and this is what I want to bring up, Kelly. The other day, we talked about this, because we talk after the fights. We always do. We're always, we argue before we even on the show weeks prior. People like to say, fans, Floyd Mayweather hits like a fucking bitch. He hits like a bitch. He can't hit. Let me tell you something. Maybe to another fighter, an elite fighter, maybe to a world-class fighter, he don't hit as hard as he used to. But for you motherfuckers sitting on your couch, eating pork rinds, fucking drinking beer, and talking shit at the TV. I'm not saying you guys, our fans are the best in the world, and we all know that. But I'm talking about the average fan.
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather would make you fucking disappear if he hit you in the face.
Exactly.
He would break all your shit because you know what? It's different. Technique. When a guy is fighting at complete, let me use a big word now, homeostasis, the body's working in perfect unison. Boxers are known for that. The weight travels from the earth to the ground, to the calves, to the feet, to the hips, to the arms, to the shoulders,
Show
the
me your
back,
degree.
and the fist. What?
Show me your degree.
Why?
No, so that way I can believe this.
No, it's true. It's true. My degree's in history. Don't.
Yeah.
My degree's in it, but no, when all those things are working in unison, perfect, right? All the way from the earth, all the way to the top of your fucking head, and then when everything's thrown at the same time, that's complete power.
And we're gonna have to get to the call because Diego's waiting.
Okay.
But no, and just
We'll
overall,
get back to it.
A fighter, a boxer, a guy like Mayweather trains to hit people and hurt them.
Yes.
If you got power or not, that's their goal. And some, if their power is really not there, they work in training while fighting another top level professional boxer. They work on the points and everything else, outboxing them. But yes, I agree.
Jason-
First of all, you got guys that get hit for a living in boxing. So don't say like, oh, well, you're a good street fighter. If you hit a boxer, you'll hurt him. It's not even close.
It's
okay? Totally different. And don't say that you hit harder than a boxer when you're sitting on your ass. So just leave it at that. And I think that's the end of the story.
Like we talked about this too. I've been in street fights, and I was a decent amateur. I would say I bore on high level amateur. When I got into street fights, people, it'd be over. Like on a street fight with somebody, I'd hit him, it'd be over. I'd be in the ring and hit a guy that was a trained fighter the same way, and that dude didn't back up. It's a different world. And anybody who thinks different needs to go to their local gym, pick out the best fighter in there, and prove my theory.
They won't do it.
Jason Bailey says, imagine me telling my boss, thank you for the $9 million offer, but I'm going to have to decline. It'll hurt my legacy. And what the perception of me is said, no fucking buddy ever. It's true. Let me tell you what, and they act like this is new. Professional boxers have been doing this for hundreds and hundreds of years, doing these
sideshows.
Sideshows. Do you remember Joe Louis was running around doing it to make money? Muhammad Ali fought a wrestler. He fought a judo guy, just what they do. Yep. And it's a way to make money. Why not?
I agree. All right, let's give this call.
All right, we're going to call Diego Magdaleno, guys. Let's see. I bet he don't answer them. We're going to be like, what the fuck? All right, let me get him on the line. You see, we're usually set up by Justin, so we're on our own tonight. So I want to thank Shannon Torres for setting this up for us, by the way.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's FaceTime audio. We don't want that, do we?
No.
No.
Let's get this a little close so you guys.
It's. Tell him to speak up a little loud too.
Yeah.
I'd love to know where our wire went.
Hello?
Diego.
Hey, how's it
Good?
going?
Going good. How you doing?
Real good, real good.
Well, what's going on in your world right now?
Hey man, it's training camp. That's it.
Yep.
You
Hey,
know,
you're.
I got my sight on this fight, and I'm going to do everything it takes to get a victory.
Cool,
to
man.
impress the world.
You were on the phone with Kelly Pavlik, by the way.
You know
He didn't introduce himself. No, you're actually on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. It's an honor to have you on, Diego. We were excited. We were more excited than you couldn't believe to get you on here. When Shannon told us, we're like, yeah, hell yeah, get him on here.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad. I do. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you. You up our viewership by at least 3. That's about 100. That's about 70% right
Yeah.
there. You 70.
Hey, we needed it today too because we ain't got our producer here or nothing. So, you know, we're kind of riding solo right now.
Solo.
Hey man.
But hey, how's camp going?
Camp is going great. I'm doing everything, and it's great to have good people. I have Coach Jorge Capetillo. I have Shannon, who's a big part of my team. She does all my food prep. She does a lot more than just that. You know, she's my best friend, and she helps me mentally, and she keeps me going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's from my hometown, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, it's an honor to have her on my team. I've never had this like, you know, a team that's so united. You know, I go to the gym, do my work with my coach, and then leave, and you know, pretty much it stopped. But now I have good people around me. I have Ismael Salas, who's a mastermind in boxing. You know, he's a scientist, he's a teacher. We go down there and we call him professor every day because he comes up with new stuff, and he's very structured, and that's what I love. And then Coach Jorge, he's got a lot of drive, a lot of tenacity, and the motivation that I get from him, and spiritually too.
Wow.
You know, I've never been in touch with church and with Jesus Christ, and he just pretty much told me, hey, you know, just test them. You know what I mean? And you know, I've been opening a new door to believing, and it's been helping me.
Wow.
So I'm grateful for a good team.
That's awesome. And you know, that's the thing that I think pro fighters are missing nowadays, are loyal and strong people in their life. You know what I mean? It seems like so many people have their hands out and they're not
A lot of these top guys materialistic too, though.
yes, but
Especially with social media
image.
going on, you know, things like that. You know what I mean?
Like
You tend to
image.
lose focus right away.
Yes.
And I have a team. It's a very small team, and you know, being I guess mature now, it's what I've always needed.
Yes.
Just the right people. You know, I don't need an excessive amount of hang-arounds and brands, but I just need the right people.
Well, you know, Kelly, you weren't a big hanger-on. You didn't have a big team either, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't like the entourage. Because first of all, I can't control what all of them do. You know what I mean? And then when you can't control what all of them do, and somebody does something, of course, you know, the blame comes back on not them, but it comes back on the fighter.
Man,
So-
I hired ice cream men. I hired everybody. I hired pelota salesmen. I hired anybody to bring my entourage, man. No, so we know you're getting ready for a fight with Teofimo Lopez. We know Teofimo pretty well. We spent some time with him at his last show. What are some of the things that you're working on going in? I know you can't be really specific some of the things you're working on, but what are the things that you're focusing on, you know, generally speaking?
Well, you know, you have a young, hungry lion, you know, coming in front of you, you know, and I've seen him in the gym sparring. We went to, you know, similar gyms. I've seen him in Top Rank.
Yeah.
He's sparring there. So I have an idea of who Teofimo is. Very sharp, very crafty fighter. Very intelligent and bright. He's got a lot of good things going for him. I think what I have as far as the advantage goes is experience, and that's going to be key for this fight. Experience is going to get me the victory. Staying disciplined to the game plan is going to be a key in this fight. So, I mean, how training camp's been going, I feel phenomenal. I'm pretty much ready already. You know what I mean? It's just the days that go by before you know we'll be in the ring, the bell will be ringing, and I'll be in there ready to show everybody that Diego hasn't gone. Diego's still here. Tu Fuego. I'm gonna introduce Tu Fuego to the United States because the last two fights I had were in Mexico, which has done a lot for me. Believe it or not, fighting in Mexico has given me so much confidence because out there it's rugged. You're out there. It's for sure. You're not being babied. You're not. You know, it's a wild card to go out there.
Yes.
You expect the unexpected in Mexico, and I had a glimpse of a different fight game out there. You know, you're pretty much on your own, and I had to assemble my team and everything that I've possibly learned over the years in boxing, and you know, pull out things in my arsenal that I didn't know I had. You know, it just makes you expand your what you have, your capability, because you're forced into a corner.
Yes.
And you have to fight out of it.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot from it. It was a great experience.
Hey, Diego, we got a question here from Stephen Casper.
Right out of New York.
Yeah, right out of New York. He goes, question, when the fight was... Excuse me, real quick. When the fight was brought to Diego, was there any hesitation on his part to accept this fight?
On my side, on my end?
Yeah.
No, there was no hesitation. I knew when I spoke to my promoter, Pepe Gomez, I'm like, look, you know, just give me 2 fights in Mexico, and I guarantee I'll be back in the States so I can, get back to where I belong. When they approached me with Teofimo, I thought it was an instant yes, because it's an opportunity for me. I had 2 fights in. I get the ring rust off or whatever, or, make the adjustments or whatever I had to do. I am ready to rock and roll. I've had 30 plus fights already. I just needed a couple, just to get my feet wet again from the layoff and get back in the ring, get back to where I belong. So no, I was actually very happy with this fight. Knowing them a little bit, watching from here, and just having an opportunity. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
The opportunity is there, and I'm here to take it.
Well, and a lot of people listening don't know that you're actually in camp with Broner sparring right now, getting him ready for his fight as well.
With Zach, yeah. He did mention he was going to get back to more how we started, using his speed and using more angles. He's great at that. He knows how to box too, rather than to sit there and absorb the shots. That's where a fighter gets tries to get too comfortable. There's only one Floyd Mayweather, and he does a phenomenal job of staying in the pocket and dodging and avoiding and reflecting those punches. But Broner said, he's going to get in there, he's going to do his thing, and come out victorious against a legend.
Yes.
He's got a big fight. You can never underestimate Manny Pacquiao because he comes in the best conditions. But at the same time, you can throw a hold overnight. So we'll see what Manny Pacquiao is coming to Vegas with.
Let me ask you, Diego, do you think that's important that he raises his punch output? I know there's been a lot of stuff about the output. 27 punches per round for a welterweight is really not, a great output. Do you think that is going to be a key to a victory, is his punch output nearly doubling what he should?
Definitely, doubling, maybe even tripling, because
Yes.
Pacquiao comes and he's relentless. Pacquiao is phenomenal at throwing punches. He throws punches from every angle, and he throws them in by the hundreds. So it's something that he's going to have to make a big change and up the punches. If he's not slipping and moving, then he's throwing punches.
Yeah, I look at it like this, my take on it. I had told a couple people on some of these boxing groups, it all depends too that night. It depends if the 41, 42-year-old Pacquiao shows up. Is any time now, Father Time is due to show up on his doorstep. He may come in, he may look great. He may come in and he may look like he's 41, 42 years old. And Adrian Broner could look like a road beater at that point. It all depends on that. It's a hard fight for me to pick, because I just don't know who's going to show up, especially at this stage. Now, if it was 4 years ago, I would have a definite pick, and whatever happens, it would be my choice. So.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, it just depends on who shows up that night for the fight.
And Diego, I got a question about your diet. I know we have a lot of fans, listeners that love to hear about boxers' diets. I do, and they all do. Have you noticed with your age, I'm not saying you're old, but from the time you're maybe 21, 22 till now, have you noticed your diet needs changing as a fighter?
Nothing big. What I've noticed is I'm able to eat more.
Wow.
Shannon, she's a professor in her own category.
Yes.
As far as the way, she does my food, and she has me eating, and I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
Growing up in the previous years, I was used to doing everything wrong. You know what I mean? And struggling. Struggling to make weight.
I think a big help is that she was a fighter herself, and I think that makes a big difference.
Yes, she understands. She's giving me foods that are helping me burn fat. Like
Yes.
avocado. I get those cravings, and she knows what to do for whatever craving I have.
Yes.
She would take this out and add this in, and it's like, hey, how do you feel? And we spent so much time together that she knows what I like now, and it makes one thing I have to worry less about, and it's my weight.
That and that's huge.
I tell you what, the older I got, the harder it was. Fuck.
The older it was, the harder it was.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's a science, you know what I mean? It's a
I
definite
tell everybody
science.
that too.
If you stay with the game plan, with the diet, and you're eating accordingly, it makes it easier. If you skip a meal, that's where I used to skip meals, and then it would bite me in the butt because I'd overeat because I was way too hungry. You have to. She's very strict with me. She's constantly on my case, but it's for my own good, and I know that. But she's a tremendous help.
Yeah,
the first fight is your weight,
yes,
is your diet.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Before you get in the ring, you have to get on the scale. so I give her all the credit in the world.
Yeah, hey Diego, we got to bounce around a little bit because we got fans that are asking questions too. We got one from David Martinez. He wants to know who your top 5 pound for pound is right now.
Ooh, there's a lot of good ones out there. I've been in the ring with Terrence Crawford in the amateur.
Yes.
Terrence is a great fighter. Lomachenko has been looking impressive. He's got, similar things. We're both lefties, so I can relate to what he does in the ring. Between those two guys, I'd have to put those two guys at the top right now.
That's where we have them too. We have them too.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
It's Terrence. I've given him hell in the ring before, but
Yeah.
We fought I think 3 times as amateurs, and man, boy, it was tough. It was
Wow.
tough, but it was a great chess game in there with him. You know what I mean? He made me think every minute, every round, because it's so complicated.
Wow.
He's a complicated fighter.
Yes.
And he's a fighter who's patient, and he takes time with every move that he does. Another thing is Mikey Garcia. I've been in the ring with him too.
Yes.
And the thing with him is they're just so disciplined with their game plan. It's hard to get them out of their game plan, and that's what they have that favors them.
What now on that same spirit of what you just said, how do you got Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence?
Ooh.
Okay. In a recent photo that I've seen with Mikey Garcia putting on size,
Yeah.
can affect him. I think it's not. He's not a 47-pounder.
No.
I don't think he's going to carry the weight either. Earl Spence is solid. He's solid at his weight class.
Yes.
And he's great. They're both great fighters. I think just the weight is going to be the biggest factor there.
Yes.
Can Mikey bring up his power in that division? That's the question. That's the only question I have right there.
I agree, because we know Spence is going to have his power there. We know that.
Yeah.
My thing with that fight is, I think it can be a close fight because neither one of them come out and do anything spectacular early on. I look at it being the first half of the fight being a very tactical fight, a chess match.
Yeah.
And then I think when anything happens, it's going to be later in the fight. Spence is strong. The only thing with me concerned, Mikey, he's a guy that kind of neglects the body a lot. I think that in this fight, it's going to be a fight that he has to go to the body and try to slow down Spence.
On the same token, though, Spence doesn't move his head, so that's the whole game changer. Mikey neglects the body. Errol Spence neglects head movement.
Yep.
And you know what I mean.
And there's a lot of people that were calling the fight saying that Mikey's crazy for taking that fight. I don't think it is, and I think that fight could be a lot closer than what people really think it could be. You know what I mean? Mikey's just such a smart fighter.
Yeah, that's a great fight right there. You have two talented fighters, two young talented fighters with an IQ in boxing that's crazy. You know what I mean? The only thing is I think, is the weight. Can you bring the weight with him?
That's
the
a
guy who's solid at his weight class.
That's a $6 million question. And if you made money for that question, you wouldn't have to be fighting, Diego.
Yeah, you know what's hard about that? Yeah, you know what's hard about that too is usually a guy going up to that first fight at that weight class, it's usually hard for them to bring their power right at that beginning too, though. Usually a guy, once he settles into that weight and he fights there a couple times and his body gets acclimated to that weight class, then you can probably start seeing some of the power go up with them. A lot of times just jumping up to that weight, sometimes that power don't come with you.
I also think this, though. I think Mikey, with the sparring partners that he has coming in, the junior middleweights he's bringing in, Trout and Hurd and Kavaluskis, and bringing some of these other guys is huge. I think he'll get a chance to test, does he really belong there when you're working with a guy like those?
It does, but still, that's still the first fight and really the first camp that he has, with them guys. And it'll help, you know what I mean? Sparring again, ain't fighting. But I think things like that, you're going to have to bring big bodies in.
Yes.
Try to get them to try to mimic and impersonate Errol Spence's style as much as possible.
I think Austin Trout's the closest one to it, just by him being a big southpaw. Mm-hmm. But also, here's what I got a question, Diego. Do you think, here's my take on this. Mikey and them, they say they see something. My only thing is this. Maybe with Errol, I don't know if he has that plan B, that plan C, because he's never had to use it. I don't know if he has those other plans. We know Mikey has that ability to go plan B, plan C, plan D, because he's used them throughout his career in different fights. I have never seen that, and I've never seen Errol hurt to
That's
see what
not
happens
knocking,
when he gets
Earl.
hurt. Not knocking, it's
Yeah,
just
it's not. No, he just hasn't really had to do it.
my thing is this. Derek James is a great trainer, no questions. But I saw with the Charlos an inability to adjust themselves when pressured on the last fights. Is that some? And I'm asking. I'm not accused. I'm saying, is that something that's with all the Derek James fighters? Because they're all trained as front runners, or is that something that is individual? Do you think, Diego?
Yeah, I think that's an individual thing. That goes with the fighter. It's something that it's either you do it or you don't. You know what I mean? It's when you go down, do you get up?
Yes.
That's the question. I think it comes a time where every fighter gets put down and they have to make that decision. Hey, do you get up and fight, or do you just call it a day? So
Agreed.
something like that, you have to make adjustments. If you get into a dirty havoc fight, where you get cut open, you have to make the adjustments in there. I think fighters are constantly making adjustments, but it's the severity of it, and I think that comes with personality.
Definitely. Sorry.
I think so. I mean, at my same point too, though. I don't know. Charlos are twins. I understand that, but both of them, I don't know. That's a good question. We have yet to see Spence really put anything. I think the closest fight with Spence was against Brooke. And he looked like he got a little tired in the middle of that fight and kind of didn't change anything really besides just use his power and strength to eventually, take him out.
I think I've seen flashes of brilliance in Spence in every fight. You see something that makes him more elite than the next guy in every fight.
At 147, Spence is going to be really hard to beat.
Spence is a monster. You know what the thing is, and what scares me with this fight with Mikey is this. That strength of him, his strength and that body work, and him leaning on you. I don't care how much fucking weight you lift. I don't care if you're eating 6,800 calories a day. A big 147-pound man against a big lightweight is different.
It's very different, yeah. And it's the big difference is his. We're talking about the punching power. If he doesn't bring up with punching power into that weight category, it's not going to be as affected on Earl Spence. He's going to be able to last 12 rounds, no problem.
Yes.
To Mikey's defense on that, though, and I agree with you, to his defense, though, that's the one thing that Mikey has is that he's so smart in that ring that he could find and he could switch something up halfway through that fight that could be effective. Something that he could start landing. That's going to be the interesting thing to see. It really is.
Floyd Mayweather Sr. made a great point, and I usually don't agree with most of what Floyd Mayweather Sr. says because he says some ignorant shit. But what I'm saying is this. But Floyd Mayweather Sr. said that Mikey does a lot of the same things Floyd does. He analyzes, he breaks down a fight as it's happening, and he can adjust within seconds. And a lot of fighters can't do that. But another thing is, I think Errol's able to do that as well. I think Errol can also adjust in the fight and break fights down as it goes. He did it with Chris Algieri. People say, oh, well, Algieri, hey, let me tell you what, Algieri can make your night bad on any night. Ask Mauricio Herrera.
Yep, I agree. Hey, we got K-Ray. First of all, I want to thank you. I can't, and Vinny, you made a joke, but I can't see the screen.
That's IOTBA, baby.
Yeah, K-Ray Bradshaw goes, James and Kelly, and we're going to toss you in on this one too, Diego. He says, is it questionable for Mikey to be working with Victor Conte?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would not, it's not a good look.
It could make you or work against you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an important. It has to be able to fit with Mikey, and I think with Mikey's experience, if any fighter goes out there and they get a direction or get something that's out of their nature, they're gonna revert back to what they already know because that's what they feel comfortable with.
And you know what you just said? That's something that only world-class fighters like you and Kelly always say that. It don't matter what you learn or how good you are. Once you get hit, you go back to who you really are.
It is true. My take on that, too, though, right now is I don't know how to feel about that. But at the same time, if you're going to bring somebody in to bulk up and put weight on, that kind of is the guy to bring in. I know, let's take the Russian vitamins and everything else and put that to the side. Victor knows how to get a guy. He's done it before. He's not a football strength and conditioning coach coming in and training a guy.
Well,
He's a boxing guy that's been in the field,
Right.
been there, done that. And I think if anybody you're going to have for that situation, I think that's actually, I do think it's a good idea.
Well,
I think
Victor's
it's a
been
good
working with
choice.
Mike for 5 years. Victor has been
Oh,
working
yeah.
with
You
Mike.
can't just bring any strength and conditioning coach and when it all comes down to it, and you bring a strength and conditioning coach to boxing, it's a different game.
Yes.
You can do that to any athletic sport except for boxing. It doesn't work in boxing. Boxing, you have to understand boxing to understand where the strength needs to be.
Exactly.
And you know, boxing is blessed because there are a few great ones out there. I think Cecilio Flores is probably one of the best in the world.
Oh, absolutely. Cecilia's another good one.
He's the one that got Lomachenko where he was at, Usyk and all these other guys. And I think Cecilio not being in Lomachenko's last fight, I could see a difference in him from Cecilio not being part of that camp.
I don't know. It's crazy. Of course, you know, with Contai, I mean, it's questionable when you bring him in because of the past history with it. But you know, people forgive everybody in the sport. I mean, how many fighters went out and did things that they did, and you know, nobody batted an eye at it. So I think that might be a good choice right now. That what he picked.
Let me ask you a question, Diego. When you're not fighting, when you're done, God for when God, let's hope that you have the longest, greatest career ever. But when you get through with fighting, what are some of the things that you're looking at for you?
Real estate. Believe it or not, 2 days ago, my real estate license just came in. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to the office to go pick it up.
Shit, congrats.
I've been interested in, my first house I bought when I was 19. I bought in Pahrump, Nevada. And the second house I got was in Summerlin. And the third house I got was in Summerlin. I sold them and made money on them. So it's something that I'm familiar with in the Vegas, with the Raiders coming to Vegas
Yes.
too, and things like that. Like now I really invested into it, and I went down. I opened up a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I studied at home, and the first time in my life I opened a book, read it, and studied and passed the test for it, and that to me was a victory.
It is.
It's cool because you get out of school for so long. Right after high school, I took some college classes, and I turned pro within 6 months of that.
Yeah.
And I kind of put school to the side, and I was like, look, this is my dream. I'm gonna put in 100% to boxing, and let's see where it goes. So I did my career, and I had fun with it. I got 2 world titles. Came up short. I'm not going to stop until I get, I have one more try that I'm going after.
Yes.
And I'm this close. I believe beating a Teofimo, who's ranked, in the top 10, will put me in the position to fight for another world title.
Yes.
I capture my world title, and I do great with my money. You know what I mean? And I invested in the market here in Vegas.
That's
I mean,
huge.
it goes up and down, but if you learn it, you can bet that you can really make some money doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And trust me, I've done it. I've got equity in over, in the matter of just 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And came strong. So it's just something that that I've always been interested in, and now it's becoming a reality.
Yeah, real estate. I'll tell you on that, man. Real estate. It's one of those really good money. Really, really good money if you know what you're doing and you get right, but it's also one of those other investments too, real estate, where you can lose your ass pretty damn quick also, quicker than a lot of other investments.
Yeah, just like boxing, you got to prepare for it.
Yes.
There's a strategy for everything, and that's what I'm learning now.
Have you thought about ever working on the other side of the microphone? Like media, commentating? Because I think you would do great at that. You're well...
I love it. In fact, I've worked with a guy who worked with Top Rank before, Armando Barreno. He has an Instagram page and he has his own production that he does. He started in Mexico, and I worked with him. I sat down with him, and he had an insight for me, and the plan was to start working with him. Unfortunately, he had an investor who came up short, and then the project kind of was put on hold, and I continued doing boxing, and now he's doing his thing. But commentary would be great. That's another thing that I'd like
Well,
to, do.
it's so
I
rare.
can do it all, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
right?
you can. But you can.
Yeah.
You don't want to
The
spread yourself too thin, though.
Yes, I have the ability and I have the drive and the energy is there. And if there's an opportunity for me, I would love to do it.
But I think the sport is so short on experienced world-class fighters that have a great understanding of the sport and willing to speak intelligently about it. And I think that's something that's definitely in your wheelhouse. There are so many people that has fought, great fighters, and don't understand how to break the fights down or speak about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that would be something that you would be amazing at.
That's a huge compliment and definitely a booster to my confidence as far as getting into that field. But yes, if there's anything out there, I will be for sure to be, jump into it.
Well, Diego, let me tell you what. When Kelly gets tired of me and fires me off here, you got a job.
That's awesome. I'd love to come on the show and work with you guys and get a little glimpse of what you guys do right there on set.
Well, we're always in Vegas for the fights. We do, and if we are, you come and work with us. Do the media with us. Do media with us.
Yeah, you know where to find me. It's not that hard nowadays, social media. I would love to, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, hey, Diego, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. It was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish you the best of luck, man. Go out and do what you do.
I'm
rooting for you.
Definitely. So.
Right on.
And like I said, you're all.
February 2nd in Dallas in Frisco, Dallas.
Yes.
Or Frisco, Texas. Sorry, right outside of Dallas.
Yep.
I believe it's the training center for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep, it is. We saw Errol fight there last time.
That's where we're at last time.
That's where we're at. Yep. Also, where can people that are watching the show follow you at? Your Instagram, Facebook?
My Instagram is _2fuego. On Facebook, I'm Diego Magdaleno, and on Twitter, I'm at 2fuego.
That is awesome. And you are welcome to come on anytime and talk boxing with us. We actually want you on to come on and talk boxing with us.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No problem, man.
It's uplifting. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
No, you are. Thank you
man.
so much, bro.
Have a good one, bro.
Right on. Appreciate it.
All right, K-Ray, I will answer your questions
We're
later
going to get to
on.
your guys' questions before battery
We're
goes
going to
down.
wrap up here and
Okay, there's some questions we'll get over here. I'm just trying to get
you
them.
get K-Rays. He had a good one. Kelly, besides beating Jermaine Taylor, what would you say was a huge moment in your career that stand out? I would have to definitely probably say the Miranda fight too. Not only because it was a prelude to the world title fight, but I have to say because at that time when I fought Miranda, and people easily forget, he was the most feared man in boxing. He was beating people. He was stopping them, knocking them out. He was just vicious. And for me to go in there and not only beat him, but beat him the way I did and beat him at his own game, that was pretty big.
Michael says, which one of us has the better tattoos? I don't know. They're both not bad. I don't know. I think the tattoos add something. Never really compared, huh?
Never had a penis measuring contest.
No, but they're different styles. You know what I mean?
They is.
Mine are more Aztec and yours are like more Italian.
Yeah, Italian.
What do you think of Errol Spencer not wanting to do PED testing to January 5th? You know what? It's nothing on Errol. Errol's, I would be willing to bet a month's salary that Errol's one of the cleaner fighters out there. Errol busts his ass in the gym. I'm not even going to front. Errol's one of the hardest workers. Other than Floyd Mayweather, Errol Spence might be the hardest worker in the sport today.
I agree with that.
I've ever heard. And the thing about the PED testing, not a lot of fighters want to draw blood during that fucking time. It wears on you. It wears on you mentally and emotionally to have your blood drawn. Some fighters. I'm not saying it does.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going as... I hope that's not the reason, but I'm not going as far as to say that...
I don't know, but you know.
But I don't think that he's using any peds.
I don't know. They're just... There were some good questions here. I know we missed some because we were doing the interview. Dylan says, what's up, hey? Happy New Year, Benjamin.
Kelly and James, who were you guys' fighter of the year? Ooh, man. I'm two guys right now. I would have to probably say Usyk.
Usyk, yeah.
And then...
I'm going to say Usyk in anyway. Maybe Crawford even. Maybe Crawford.
Mine is Crawford.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you know what? I give him a third, even though I don't get on him like you do.
Yeah.
I would give him a third in that.
Ruben said James is looking pretty slim. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate it. Like a snack. That's funny as shit. Thank you, Ruben.
Ruben been brown nosing your butthole all
No,
day
he hasn't.
since you guys kissed the maid up.
We're homies.
I know.
I know. John Carmona said, what prospects will have a breakout year in 2019? Easy. Virgil Ortiz, Gabe Flores, and we'll find out with Teofimo Lopez after this fight with this killer he's fighting with.
Exactly. So those are the names right now that stand
Those are
out.
it.
Well, you still got Ryan Garcia.
Ruben Williamson, KP, JD. Hey, what's up, Ruben? Ruben Williams, guys, another monster. He had, 60 pro fights and over 160 amateur fights? Yeah, man. Like, they're just... And, guys, we appreciate you guys coming on. And I don't even see all these questions. Kerry had a
Kelly, I know that's why they're hard to read from this far away. Kelly, being a white fighter coming up, did you feel you had to do more since boxing was dominated by...
minorities.
Hold on, I got to see more. I'm just going to guess. Blacks and Hispanics. You know what, K-Ray, I'm going to be brutally honest because this is a true thing that happened. And it's backed by people in the boxing sport that put on the fights.
Yep.
I should say like Top Rank and Cameron Duncan.
It's true.
I didn't feel that way coming up. I just felt like, yes, the sport is dominated by the black fighters and Hispanic fighters. And that's obvious. It was. And, but when I started getting to the TV fights, actually, I forget the guys who was the head at the time of HBO.
Ross Greenberg.
Greenberg. And he literally came right out and said it right to me and Cameron Duncan and my dad. He goes, because we were 15, 16, 17 and 0, and other guys and prospects were getting on TV, and he straight out said that they will not invest in any white fighter from the Midwest. And I'm more Mideast, first of all. That was the only thing I could tell him. I'm not Midwest. But so at that point, I think it was hard. You weren't just fighting the other fighters. You were fighting, against the politics and whatnot of the sport. And so I believe it does have a little bit to do with it right now. I understand you got other guys, white fighters, but they're Eastern European or Ukrainians, and I think them guys got more of a reputation for fighting as compared to a white kid from the United States.
Yeah.
And it's true. And you know what? You can't really fault it because there's not really many that do come up, and it's true, So at the same time, it's hard to put stock into some of the guys because there's not many of them.
I got Adam Max. I guess he's a troll. He said, "Why are most American boxers such bums?" I don't know. We can go back to Great Britain's stable of fighters, and we can ask the same question.
Yeah, we don't want to compare that one.
We don't want to compare to them. All them guys run through the ranks to either fizzle out on cocaine or get knocked the fuck out.
Who do they got?
Nobody. Oh yeah, their biggest star is all jacked up on coke and sucking hooker pussy. Oh, they got Fury. Adam's telling us how it is. Really? Adam's telling us how it is because, obviously Crawford can't fight and Spence can't fight and Mikey Garcia can't fight. And
Floyd Mayweather can't fight.
None of these guys can fight, man. It's crazy. No one's getting butthurt, Adam. You know what? Somebody ban this fucking dude. I hate these fucking trolls. Just get rid of him. He's a bitch. What's up, Sean? Yeah, he sucks too, Adam. Good luck, man.
Kelly, who did you
Joshua.
Your style after? Who did you look up to? K-Ray, Caleb asked some good questions.
Yeah, he does. Well, of course, he's a
I know,
reporter.
exactly. Can I steal his line real quick?
Yeah, steal it.
K-Ray, can I do it real quick? Oh, you do it better than me.
No, you do it.
I was scrolling through.
My articles. Yeah, I must address the bullshit.
Yeah. All right, I got to get the, what was the question again? Oh, who did I mimic my style after? You know what? That's another one. I'll be dead honest with you guys.
He mimicked it after me.
I didn't really copy anybody. I never, when I watch boxing, I always watched it as a fan, but not as somebody. I don't know. I guess there was a couple guys from the gym coming up. I would take some things from, but not so much my style.
Yeah.
De La Hoya, as a young kid, I would copy some of his things, but I would kind of put it into my own style. I didn't really try to mimic anybody. I kind of had my own ways about.
Yeah. I don't know. I think when we were younger, in amateurs, we kind of did that more, didn't we?
Yeah.
When I was an amateur, I
See
grew
what
up,
works for you.
I grew up around Oscar. Well, we weren't like homies, but we grew up in the same gyms. He was a few years older than I was, but I used to try to emulate him because he was such a good fighter. You know, the way he fought with that hot. Remember in the amateurs, that high guard he would have. He fought in the Olympics with that high guard, and I copied that. It just wasn't my thing.
But
Well, we got to have somebody that can actually block somebody, Damon, because they're just not doing their job right now. Alicia or Amy, somebody got to block this motherfucker, because. But he's saying that he's another British guy, obviously, that thinks that the British guys are better than American fighters, which they've done nothing to prove that. Joshua, he's talking about, who won't fight Wilder.
I like my British fans, but yeah, that's
That guy's just a douche. He won't fight. Okay, he won't fight Wilder. He wants $150 million to fight Wilder. He won't even fight his own countryman in Fury. Who's he? And then what? He got what? And then didn't Klitschko beat him up and drop him? And Klitschko's a 43-year-old man. Yeah, go on with that stupid shit.
That's not even worth the argument. I mean, because it's not going to go nowhere. Damon asked, Kelly, how nervous did the crowd make you when you hit the big time? You know, that's a good question, Damon. It plays in both ways. Sometimes the crowd, you could use them. My nerves weren't so much from the crowd. It was the fight itself. But the crowd, you use them. It's amazing how that works. You know, you use them when you need them. And sometimes when you're really into the fight, you're not really paying attention to who's there or anybody in the stands. Yeah. It's crazy, and it's just, I think it's the brain, the body itself, the mind that takes over and controls that aspect of the fight.
Kerry, IOTBA Boxing. Hey guys, by the way, listen to his show, IOTBA Boxing. You'll get some gems out of him. He tells it like it is. He's a little less politically correct than me, but you'll get the point of what he's trying to say, and you'll get it from another view that we don't give you. So tune into his show.
Politically correct after you just got done.
I said he's less politically correct.
Oh.
I'm not politically correct.
Okay.
But Kerry said, Kelly, you being a world-class fighter, what does Mikey Garcia have to do to beat Spence? Pray to Jesus. No. Eat your vitamins.
I think that he needs to
concentrate.
To invest into the body, to try to slow down Spence also, you know, for the later rounds. The beginning part of the fight is going to be, in my opinion, how it should be, the way the two fight, very tactical. I think Mikey's going to have to invest in that body, though, to try to slow him down in those later rounds and let him carry them shots. I think Mikey's going to have to move and work his angles, which he does all the time, but keep those moving and stay away from the right side, moving into the left hand of Earl Spence.
Yeah, let me see. Let me see here. Here's another good question. You know what? I think another thing would be Mike utilizing his angles, because if you use angles with the southpaw, usually it's more of an event. If you can start using angles with the southpaw a little bit, it helps. It's harder, but if you stand in front of Errol Spence, you're in trouble. He's strong, and you know you're gonna have to do something.
Fight, and as the time went by, the recovery time would take longer. Yeah, Pasco, it took a while. I mean, I'll go back. The Miranda fight was a hard one because it was just a brutal fight. Even though I won, I mean, you sit there, it's crazy. I guess almost like you're punch drunk. I mean, you sit there sometimes for like 3 days after. I'd be like in a daze, just sitting there, lethargic as shit. Taylor wasn't that bad. Hopkins, obviously, you know, I got hit with some shots. You know, so yeah, some of the fights, it all depends. You know, it depends on how the fight goes, how many hard shots you take, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think the show's going pretty well when you start getting trolls on here. What do you think?
Yeah.
Idiots. The fatty and the
Well, let's wrap it up.
Hey, there's a good question here. Another one. Kerry wants to know, James and Kelly, what's the thoughts on Badu Jack and Marcus Brown? I like both fighters. I like Badu Jack. I know him we know him personally. Yeah. I like Badu a lot. And I like Marcus Brown. He's one of the nicer guys in the sport. I don't know, man. Badu just didn't look that good last time. And Marcus Brown hasn't fought in a while. So I don't know. But if I had to bet, if I was a betting man, I think I would take Marcus Brown in it. I'm going to take Marcus Brown. Virgil Ortiz is watching.
I'm going with Badou.
Are you? Virgil Ortiz Sr.'s watching, father of Virgil Ortiz Jr. Make sure that you guys watch Virgil Jr.'s fight in January in Houston, Texas. He's fighting in Houston, Texas at the Toyota Center. So you make sure you guys get tickets for that. Where does Rigo go after Loma? Right now, anything would be better, Eric. Right now, any fight would be better. He needs a fight, and that's always been.
That's the main thing.
They banned him finally. It only took him an hour to do it. Valiant punching versus sniping. Which is worse to deal with in the ring for personal experience? Volume punching versus sniping. I always thought volume punching was harder.
Yeah. For the most part, volume will give you a fight. I mean, again, guys, that depends on who the sniper is. It depends on who the volume puncher is. So that makes a big difference in the fight, too. I mean, we really can't pick one overall because you always have the one sniper that beat a volume puncher. We always have that one volume puncher that beat a sniper. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the fight.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Alicia. Yeah, you know what? I think we're at the point where we just don't want to put up with the dumb shit on the show anymore. People just
I
trolling.
wouldn't keep feeding into it.
No, he's gone. They already got rid of him. But what I'm saying is, no, I think so. We're both fat. Did you know that?
It's okay.
We're both fat.
I like it.
About 188. You're about 220 solid. We're fucking fat.
Right?
Dan says, what are some of the best sparring sessions between pros and people may not know about? Oh, fuck, Dan. You know what? Can I answer one? You know what, Dan? Go on YouTube. Mikey Garcia and Marcos Maidana are a great sparring session. Brandon Rios, Maidana is a good one. Edwin Valero, anything with Edwin Valero, Urbano Antillon, and Eric Morales was good. There's some footage of Floyd Mayweather Young working with Shane Mosley. And there's some of actually Shane Mosley at like 18 sparring with Gennaro Hernandez. Those are just some of the things out there that are like just gold.
Pretty much if you pull up any of your favorite fighter right now in 2018 and put it on YouTube, you're going to get a lot of sparring clips.
Yeah, Rigo does have a comeback, Esteban. And that's the thing, he hasn't been fighting for a while, and they need to take their time. He doesn't have a lot of time, though.
Robin Slayton. Hi, Rob. Taylor, for me. Gentlemen, thank you, as usual.
Dan Rosano says, he saw you fight AC live. One of the best, exciting fights ever. Cheers forever on your career, Kelly.
Oh, thank you.
Darren, he always asks good questions, too. Darren Shabbat does. What would you consider Mikey fight a lose-lose for Spence? If he wins, it might not get credit. If he wins, it's upset. Absolutely. Before, this will be the last question, unless Kelly has one he asked. And I don't know if Kelly agrees with me, but for Mikey Garcia, fighting Errol Spence is a win-win.
It is.
For Errol Spence, on the other hand, it's a lose-lose. Let me tell you why. Do you want to do the win-win and I'll do the lose-lose?
No, go ahead.
No, you do that one. Come on, do it better.
I'm good.
You do it better than I do.
It's simple.
Yeah, but do it. Come on. Tell me why Mikey's a win-win. Tell me.
Because if Mikey goes in there, first of all, it's going to be one of the highest paydays that he gets. Second of all, Mikey does good, which a lot of people are not giving him the credit for or expecting him to do. That shows a lot. Mikey goes in and beats Errol Spence. Now you're talking about the number one pound for pound, and he should be, hands down, the number one pound for pound best fighter in the world. And you're good if he loses.
Who, Mikey?
Yeah.
If Mikey loses, he got beat by a bigger, stronger, younger, and faster guy, which everybody expects, right? And if he loses, he goes back to lightweight, and he has all 4 of those world titles. Yep. So what did you really lose? You made $8.5 million. You made 5 and 8 on the books. You made another 3 on the back end. You made $8 million. And you kept all your titles if you lose.
And you go back down and you fight for another couple $1 million.
And then you go back
and defend your title.
Then you go back and call Lomachenko out and see how that plays out. But if Errol Spence wins, he beat a little guy. That's not the truth. He beat a great fighter.
But he won't get the credit.
He won't get the credit that he earned.
Yep.
And so it's a lose.
And you guys know that as being boxing fans
and being working in the sport and journalists,
being in the boxing sites and seeing.
Errol is an amazing fighter. He will not get credit for the win or the loss. Now, if Errol loses the fight, he lost to just a lightweight, and he was overrated, and which is not fair to Errol Spence because he's an amazing fighter and he's going to have a Hall of Fame career. And the thing is, it won't be fair to him either way. But Errol also knows he's making $5.5 million.
Exactly.
So really, they're both winners. At the end of the day, they
So
won the
as you
day.
guys are picking on Earl Spence saying he got beat by a lightweight, you probably see him out and want to go hang out with him in his private jet or his limo.
Daniel says, what did you think of Calzaghe?
Thought Calzaghe was a great fighter and not one of the most underrated champions of all time.
Carrie says, I love the show. Thank you, Carrie. You know what? I love your show too. I try to catch it. I don't comment because them dudes come down on me pretty hard, man. If I comment, I get called a racist, and some of them dudes go crazy on me. IOTBA, you gotta step in there for me. Help me out here. Any fear of career damage for Mikey? No worries about not being the same fighter. No, not at all. Like I said, there is no career damage for him whatsoever. He loses, he loses. He's gonna go back and he's gonna fight at lightweight and he's gonna have a Hall of Fame career still, or maybe junior welterweight. We don't know, but I doubt. Both fighters are gonna go to the Hall of Fame. Both fighters are gonna be all-time greats, regardless how this pans out. The real winners of this fight are us. All of us who are watching this are watching two great young fighters in their prime fight, and that's it. That's the best thing we can hope for. But it's been a great show.
It has been.
And
Go ahead, guys.
subscribe,
Share,
like,
and ring that bell.
ring that bell. Also, guys, we're going to be doing shows out of California. We're going to be doing live feeds of the fighters in training. We might sneak some sparring in there if we can. Remember, we'll get Josecito Lopez, Abner Mares, Inoue, and Ito. And we're going to catch up with maybe we'll catch up with Santa Cruz and a few other fighters. We're going to be moving around. And if there's any questions, hit the messenger, hit the punchline page, and we'll answer them for you. And if you need anything special from the fighters, a shout out, we'll try to do that for you.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, thanks for watching.
Yep. And stay tuned, and we'll catch up on some of these other questions you got afterwards, guys.
Thank you, and have a great day. And we will see you guys in California next.
See you around like a donut.